just cry. I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, where are you now? When all I feel is doubt. Oh, where are you now? When I can't figure it out. Oh, I hear you say, I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up. You're not threatened by the war. You're not shaken by the storm. I know you're in control. Even in the suffering.
Welcome. We're right here on Destigmatize, right here on Fit FM 96.7. And we're late, but we're glad that we are here and we are just happy that you're with us. So you might be with us on Facebook, you may be with us on YouTube, on Friends Who Love Fit FM or fitfmja.com. And we want you to talk to us. So we have our WhatsApp lines that are open at 876-322-1157. Yes, 876, sorry, 478-9144. Different number was given you, my gosh. And 876-317-1991. Yes, let me get 876-478-9144 or 876-317-1991. And we're here to talk about issues that we need to raise awareness to, especially mental health issues that persons may not want to talk about. They're afraid to talk about because they're afraid that they will be labeled. They're afraid of what will happen, the repercussions if they speak out or speak of what is happening. But we have to talk about it because we want to ensure that we are growing healthy neighborhoods. And if we have healthy neighborhoods, then we'll have a healthy nation. And we'll be able to deal with some of the issues that are affecting especially our children and adolescents. So we are here to talk about it. I know that everybody is getting for champs, the biggest thing on the block now. And we have concern that when we talk about our children and adolescents, we have to speak about the substances that sometimes is brought onto them. You know, they are lured into doing it. And we just heard that there's a new hot drug on the market coming out of Barbados that is flooding Barbados or is in Barbados. So we know that we have to keep our guards up. We have to understand what is happening and talk about it so that we know and that we are aware and that we can help our children to understand the consequent hard choices that they may have to make. Some friends gain some enemies because they may speak up and speak out about it. So we are going to be talking about it. And we have one of our experts on substance use disorders. And we're going to be speaking to our guest, Trisha McCarthy, and she is from the National Council on Drug Abuse and in Trelawney, in Falmouth here. And we want to welcome her to our program because we know that she has lots and loads to tell us. Welcome, Trisha.
Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here because we are buzzing with a lot of activities, but we also need to recognize that there are some evil things that are lurking in the midst of our children, and we're talking about substance use. And we know that persons may not recognize. So we wanted to start by telling us, giving us an idea as to how serious this is. What are we talking about when we are speaking about substance use disorders? What are the substances that um, come to mind, or that are the top ones that we are seeing, especially in our children and adolescents?
Okay. Thanks, Osman. So one of the things that we are seeing now is that our young people are meant to cope with with life, with just regular running school. The thing that we're seeing an increase in with our children, and when we know that the baby is popular nicotine distribution,
Trisha, I'm
the
sorry, you're breaking up. I'm not so
distribution
sure.
with
Are you hearing me
right?
clearly? Are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing clearly.
Okay, because you're
Are you
breaking up.
hearing me?
It's a bit choppy on our side, so I don't know what's happening. But go ahead,
Okay.
then.
Are you hearing me better
I'm
now?
hearing you a little better now. Yes, yes. But
Okay.
before
So
you were speaking about vaping, but before you get into vaping, I want us to look at what are the common substances that we're seeing in adolescents that would, when the NCDA, when you do your surveys, these are the top substances that persons need to be mindful of and to think about when we're thinking about substances.
okay. So one of the main things that are emerging
Mm-hmm.
is we find that our young persons are mixing the rum
Mm-hmm.
and the boom. That's
Yes.
what they call special.
Yes.
So we also hear and
So
we know about the Molly.
so alcohol is still a problem with our young people.
Yes,
Okay.
alcohol is still one of our, or is classified as the main substance of choice for Jamaica.
Okay.
And it's including our children or adolescents.
Okay. Okay.
So it is still something, and what's happening is that we're finding that they are mixing it with different things. So even
Okay.
though
Okay.
that's coming on the market, alcohol still plays a major role
Still pays homage.
in the substance of.
Is there any way that you could say, for argument's sake, probably within a certain age group, let's say the 10 to 19, like you would say one in every 20 that you'd find using substances? Is there any way that you could give us any of that information?
Um, I am not able to give you
Okay. All
specific
right.
as it relates to one because we are still
Yes.
compiling some of
Oh,
our more
okay.
recent researches.
Okay. All right. All right.
But I can say that
Mm-hmm.
it seems to be an increase. The specifics
Okay.
we cannot give, but
Yes.
there has
Yes.
been an increase
Okay.
in
Okay.
usage.
Okay. All right. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
right. So
Yes.
one of
Yes.
the things that and you spoke of community and what persons need to be on the lookout for.
Yes.
We are imploring parents
Mm-hmm.
to observe
Mm-hmm.
the children because
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
are mixing the alcohol, and you have
Yes.
some alcohols that don't come with strong scents. For example,
Okay.
the vodka.
Okay. Okay.
So we have where the vodka can be placed in like the soda bottles
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
regular water bottles, and they're
Mm-hmm.
taking these things to school and they're
Mm-hmm.
consuming them on a high quantity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to recognize a parent
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't carry a strong
Smell.
odor.
Yes. Yes. But is there anything else that they could recognize, probably in their behavior, in their schoolwork? Is there anything?
So one of the things, what we always say is that one nobody knows a child more than or better than their parents. So
True.
when we find that children are withdrawing, so we
Mm-hmm.
find that they no longer care about their appearance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they once upon a time they used to be neat and
Mm-hmm.
the uniform used to be clean, but
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden they no longer care. The hair is not well groomed.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
they the eyes are the eyes may be red. The behavior,
Mm-hmm.
they become more withdrawn. They
Mm-hmm.
become easily agitated,
Okay.
easily angered.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
these are, I will find that the friends have changed,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So we always ask
Mm-hmm.
parents, and we're not saying that if you find one out of these
Mm-hmm.
that you
Mm-hmm.
must automatically assume, but when you
Right, right,
find them
right.
coming together
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you recognize that your child has changed,
Mm-hmm.
seek help.
Okay,
Talk to
yes.
somebody about it, or
Mm-hmm.
just ask some questions.
Mm-hmm. But somebody might say, boy,
We,
this is irregular teenage behavior, you know. Think they must talk to parents and they must back chat them and then don't want to they have new friends and they so how do we differentiate? How does one differentiate? Or what it is that you're
you see,
seeing more, right? Yeah.
so we often recommend, so if it is that you're seeing something that is different, and it could be regular adolescent behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but how are things at school? When,
Mm-hmm.
so we always ask or encourage parents to just pop in at school. Find
Mm-hmm.
out if they're going. Find out if
Mm-hmm.
they're going to classes. Find out
Mm-hmm.
how the teachers are interacting with them, or if
Mm-hmm.
they are interacting with the teachers,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And if it
Mm-hmm.
is that I often recommend to parents to invite their children's friends home.
Mm-hmm.
Invite them into the home space and just
Mm-hmm.
observe how the friends and the child interact.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is
Mm-hmm.
also important to find out if your child has friends,
Mm.
right? Because
Okay.
sometimes the children are lonely,
Ah, I get you. Yes, yes.
right? They
Mm-hmm.
are lonely, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they may revert to the substance use to
Mm-hmm.
deal with these feelings of
Right,
loneliness or
right,
this isolation.
right,
They're not
right,
blending in,
right,
and
right,
it's a
right.
serious thing for adolescents.
And I must ask you though, Trisha, because as you mentioned, the loneliness and probably the boredom and not blending in and probably the difficulty in fitting into school, have we seen that increase because of COVID or since you have returned to school after the lockdown, and now it's a
Yes,
new dimension for them? Are we seeing a lot of cases
yes,
resulting from that?
yes, we are, because
Okay.
one of the things that we find is that we have a lot of students who transition from primary school to high school during the COVID period. So
Right.
they never got the socialization
Right, right.
down. So
Yes.
now they're in grade 9 and
Yes.
they are just in high school. So
Uh-huh.
it takes
Yes.
time and it's difficult to adjust.
Right, right, right. Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And one of the things that we always say to people, remember that substance use is a symptom and it's normally as a result of
Mm-hmm.
coping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we recommend that parents
Mm-hmm.
and teach your children coping skills because life is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when a person has resilience and know how to manage when problems and situations come along
Mm-hmm.
and they have their go-to ways, for
Mm-hmm.
example, music,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
example, extracurricular activities, football, netball,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
find something that allows them to feel
Right.
good,
Right. Right. Right.
encourage them in the things that they enjoy, so that
Mm-hmm.
when they're sad, they have something to go to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we find as well is that we find a lot of young people saying that they don't trust.
Mm.
They don't trust people to talk about. They don't trust
Okay.
people to relate to.
Right. Right. Right.
And this is three in every 5 adolescents that we have spoken to
Yes.
can say that they do not trust people. They don't
Okay.
even trust themselves.
Wow. Wow.
And this is a serious issue that we're having.
Mm-hmm.
So they will tell you, I prefer to smoke
Yes.
when I'm angry or when I'm stressed out than to
Okay.
talk to somebody
Somebody.
because the
Okay.
person won't keep my confidence.
Okay. 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 All right. All right. I get that. I get that. So this is what we are seeing then with our adolescents. We're
This is
seeing
what we're seeing.
challenges of substance use and they are using it one because they may be lonely and sometimes they may have some traumatic incidents happening in their lives as well, and but they
Yes,
are using it to cope a lot. So it's so is it
yes,
that we're saying it is not really entertainment that most of them start out doing it, following friends, but they're really using it more for coping, as a coping mechanism.
as a coping mechanism.
Okay, okay,
Because
okay.
when we look at when we look at the economy,
Mm-hmm.
when we look at all the other social issues that the
Yes.
parents may be dealing with, it
Yes.
trickles down to the children.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the children are seeing the parents struggling to cope financially or socially.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they themselves take on, because a lot of our children want to do better for their parents. They want to help their parents become better. So they take on some of these adult
Adult roles, yes.
responsibilities,
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and we are, and there is help
Mm-hmm.
parents.
Mm-hmm.
The government and the system provide services. We are here to help. You do not
Mm-hmm.
have to do it alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have the
Mm-hmm.
mental health services, we have the substance use, and we align, the
Mm-hmm.
National Council on Drug Abuse will align persons with the help and the care that they need.
Yeah. 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 And that's very important for persons to recognize that support services are there and to tap into these services. But we spoke about
Yes.
alcohol and you were going on to speak about Molly. Tell us what really is Molly?
Okay, so Molly is a stimulant, and it's a substance that is often used in the party scene.
Okay.
So we find that persons are trying to heighten their experiences.
Mm.
So they're trying to get a buzz, they're trying to get this really good feeling and to experience everything in their environment. So they will
Mm-hmm.
pop up here to enhance the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it comes in pill form, it
Mm-hmm.
comes in powdered form. So you will find that, you will find that people will just crush it, pour it in your drink, or they'll just
Okay.
take it like a regular pill or
Okay.
tablet form.
Okay.
And it takes it when it gives the effect, then
Yes.
you have this euphoric feeling,
Right,
this
right.
high feeling, this happy feeling, this on top
Mm-hmm.
of the world feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it lasts anywhere between 4 to 6 hours for the peak.
Mm-hmm.
So that peak, that high, that good feeling
Mm-hmm.
will last anywhere from 4 to 6 hours.
Mm-hmm. So some of the listeners, I could take a Molly because I want a high. I want to. What is so wrong with using the Molly?
Okay, what happens when you're experiencing that euphoric is that your perception,
Yes.
the inhibitions are the things that what you normally have to protect you,
Right.
to say, oh, if I drive too fast, I
Yes.
may I may crash. If I swerve, I may crash. Then you have nothing at this moment to say that
Mm-hmm.
you are in danger.
Right.
We find that people often end up, so they end up doing things that when they become sober, when
Yes.
it has worn off,
Yes.
they recognize that they may have engaged in sexual activities with persons that they
Aha.
shouldn't.
Okay.
They would have in areas that they don't know.
Yeah, but you're breaking up again there, Trisha. I'm not so sure what's happening. Hello?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Are you
we're
hearing me
hearing you
now?
clearer now. Right, right. So you're speaking
Okay.
about
So
some
I
of the
was
consequences of the poor memory or lack of
yes,
memory of events
lack
that
of
they may have
memory.
participated in when they are in this high.
Yes. So the lack of
Okay.
memory, but we
Yes.
also have the fact that it can have or damages on your health,
Yes.
because we have persons with underlying issues.
Right.
So you may have a heart a heart condition that was
Right.
not diagnosed before.
Okay.
You may have because it raises your blood pressure,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then when these things happen,
Mm-hmm.
you could it could damage your heart, it could hurt your
Mm-hmm.
heart,
Mm-hmm.
you could have
Mm-hmm.
a pre-existing condition that you don't know,
Right. 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 Right.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
remember, when the drug goes into goes into the body, there is no guarantee that it is going to react this way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there are so many unknowns about the drug and how the drug works on an individual
Individual. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that you are taking a serious risk
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when persons take these drugs,
Mm-hmm.
because you may live through the high or you may
Mm-hmm.
not live through the high.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there a potential
And
for
then remember, I
addiction?
was talking,
Yep, sorry.
yes,
Okay.
and it because because it because it gives you that give persons that high, that
Mm-hmm.
rush, that good feeling. A lot of people chase the high,
Uh-huh.
and then we have what we call tolerance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So because it gives you that nice and good feeling,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
oftentimes people try to replicate,
Mm-hmm.
to repeat that feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in order to repeat it, you'll have to take more.
Mm-hmm.
And you even taking more, you will still maybe not get that
The
similar high
feeling.
as you got the very
Right.
first
Right.
time.
Right.
And that
Right.
is what increases the risk of addiction.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because you keep chasing something. You keep looking for it, you keep trying to repeat that feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
you end up having to take more and more and more. And each time you take more, it damages
Mm-hmm.
organs in the body, it damages cells in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
over a period of time, and remember, as Jamaicans say, it's not the first same day bucket go too well, the bottom drop out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Over a period of time, it takes a toll on the body,
Right, 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 right. And I wanted to ask
right?
you
And
though, does
go
this
ahead.
is it a very expensive drug? So looking also at the cost in terms of how do you get this drug, you source it, what you have to pay out if you keep taking more, if it the addiction can cause consequences such as problem at work, you're losing your job, not able to take care of well mainly if you're an adult, you're not able to pay your way in life, and does this now impact on you trying to find other means and probably illegal means of trying to obtain it, whether through stealing or other illegal means? Does that happen with Molly?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Because it as I mentioned before, when a person is under the influence of the Molly, and
Mm-hmm.
you have the memory loss.
Mm-hmm.
If it is, for example, if it is that you would have engaged in a sexual act,
Mm-hmm.
there's
Mm-hmm.
no guarantee that you would have used a condom or used protection. So
Yes,
that will,
yes.
increase your risk
Risk.
of
Mm-hmm.
contracting sexually transmitted infections or
Mm-hmm.
diseases.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have that to live with.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
yes,
that's one possibility. The
yes.
possibility of you taking the drug,
Mm-hmm.
it impacts you. So you become dependent. You keep chasing that high. So you spend your money finding the source
Mm-hmm.
and using it on a regular. So you use the money that you are earning, therefore not paying your bills. For example, if you have children,
Mm-hmm.
you tend or people will tend to neglect the children
Mm-hmm.
in lieu of a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
and then it leads social issues.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not
Right.
paying your bills,
Mm-hmm.
if you have rent to pay, mortgage to pay, you end up that you either get evicted or you lose your mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So persons and remember, okay, so let's step back a little. There is a difference between dependence and addiction.
Right.
Dependence is when you rely on it. People will feel as if they cannot function
Mm-hmm.
unless they have or they are using a particular drug.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas addiction is is when an individual, despite the fact that it may cause certain negative impact in a person's life. For example, if the child is going to school or the person is going to school and they're not remembering, they're not waking up on time,
Right.
and the school says if you don't start coming to school early, if you don't stop smoking, if you don't stop using the molly, you are going to be expelled. Your workplace says if you don't start reaching, if you don't start dressing properly, if you don't start reacting differently to your customers, you will lose your job. They don't care. All they care about in addiction is get where the next high is coming from.
Okay.
Where the next stop, where are they going to get? That's all that is their focus. So addiction is when a person is losing all touch and all control in life to the substance.
Okay. All
So
right.
therefore, when a person is addicted, they often lose touch with reality and they care nothing about control and managing or going through life. This is where we have a serious problem.
Okay.
So I don't know where we want to go from here. That because
Well,
one of the things that I wanted to touch on was the vaping and the fact that we are now seeing an issue where our primary school children are really excited about the vaping because it comes in these flavors.
Whoa.
Because you say you have a strawberry and they're cute. So the vaping devices are pretty. And then it gives them that strawberry and watermelon and mango flavor. So we have our primary school children buying it.
Is it easy? Is it
Maybe
affordable?
an adult.
Yeah. Is it affordable that a primary school
Yes,
child could
it
get
is.
it? Okay.
Yes, it is because so children will save. So you can get a vaping device for like $1,000, $1,500,
Yes.
right? So they will save and they will buy it, but they'll also get it from adults or older family members. So maybe an older family member in the household has it and may put it down and they take it up and take it to school. And children are curious. So they will share, somebody will like it, and they start, and this is where the experimentation begins, and then it moves on to regular use, and then the person becomes on it. So
right. So what I want to find out, because we're talking about vaping. What really is vaping? What are we talking about to persons who may not understand what we're talking about?
okay, so vaping is when we're looking at the electronic. So is either vaping or N. So we have electronic nicotine
Device.
dispensers,
Yeah. All right.
right? So it looks like as it suggests, it's electronic. So it's something that you can charge, something that you load. So you'll put like a cartridge or a vial of nicotine in it, and it gives off. I'm trying to see if I can give a visual. You see, it's similar to I don't know if I user that you can put the eucalyptus oil in and it gives off that steam. About is like a smaller version that is so a smaller version to a diffuser or a humidifier that the person will suck on and inhale or draw in those vapors.
I guess
the
we
vapors
can.
that they're drawing.
Yes. I'm
Go
thinking.
ahead,
Trisha, that if a lot of people say children use the asthma pump. So
Yes,
if you sort out, yeah, in a sort of way, if you look at it like that, being able
yes,
to pull in and push out, right, in a
yes.
way,
So
right,
thanks for that, because I was trying
yes,
to look for something to actually have persons have a visual. So it's
yes,
something similar to what an asthma pump looks like.
yeah. No, well, not look like, because some of
What
them
they're
are very fancy,
inhaling.
very
Yes,
modern, looking like a pen, looking, very
yes,
very different look. So sometimes you don't even know. You just see all the smoke just billowing out. You're wondering what is that. You
precisely.
realize, right.
Right? And one of the things I do now, doctor, is that blowing out the smoke anymore.
Oh,
They keep it
interesting.
in because it looks like a pen.
Yes.
If they're drawing it, they don't want anybody, so they
Mm,
don't send out the smoke or the vapors. They
mm,
keep it in, so you see them have something in their mouth
mm-hmm.
that looks like a pen or a
Yes.
pencil or even
Yes.
like a thumb drive.
Wow.
Because I remember who called me and said that they took one that the child had it in the class, plugged into to their device, and nobody knew it was a vape,
Mm-hmm.
right? So one of the things that we find is that they put the nicotine, the same chemical that is in a cigarette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So whereas a cigarette, it is regulated by the stick,
Yes.
the vape, it comes in a vial that you will have like a 50 milliliter
Mm-hmm.
or different sizes, and a person can choose to absorb all that 50 milliliter at once,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you were
and it
to
becomes
compare,
dangerous.
it to a cigarette, how many cigarettes would we be roughly would we be thinking that?
Roughly, a 50 milliliter would roughly be like about a 10 pack,
Wow, wow,
right? And
mm-hmm.
that could be done in say like half an hour
Wow,
if they're
yes.
constantly
Using it.
using it.
Okay.
And the reason why they use it is because it gives them a calm and relaxed and a euphoric feeling.
Yes, because
So when
yeah.
they're going through and they want to feel, and a lot of youngsters will tell you that they feel anxious most of the time. So when they
Mm-hmm.
smoke, it calms them down.
Mm-hmm. And we
So
know
they
that's
believe that it
natural.
makes them a better person to be around.
Sorry, and that's natural in the body, because we do have our nicotine receptors in the body, but just that this is just too much in concentration, overwhelms the normal body system, and that is what causes the problem. And then the blood loves
Yes.
the brain loves, when things are nice and calm, and so that's how the addiction now comes into play, because your body wants, and of
Yes.
that feeling. And as you say, even that the chasing of the high and the trying to get where you got when you got the first
And one of the major issue
yes.
too, that is when we are doing that with a developing brain.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up. Tell us what you mean, Trisha, with this developing
So
brain.
So when we talk about developing brain, we are talking about children, adolescents, because a brain continues to grow until some people say 24, some people say like up to 20, 25, 26.
Mm-hmm.
A brain continues to grow. So for adolescents, a normal adolescent may have a brain develop like midbrain. So
Mm-hmm.
they're just learning or navigating their emotions,
Right.
what makes them happy, what makes them sad.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just at mid-brain development. So they're just finding out, oh, when I play football, I get happy. So when you put the substances in the brain
Mm-hmm.
at this stage,
Right.
as you said, Doc, the receptors in the brain, and so when the brain absorbs these outside chemicals,
Mm-hmm.
it forges with these receptors, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it stops or halts the development of the reasoning. So
Mm-hmm.
the ability to
Okay.
reason, the ability to delay
Mm-hmm.
certain gratification
Right, right, right.
becomes what you call it now. So it stops it from developing so that when you have rational thought, something to say that boy, I need to start thinking about my future. So your motivation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I need to start thinking what type of life I'm going to have.
Mm-hmm.
When I need to start thinking about how going to become something or thinking about my career.
Right. Yes.
Those things don't happen. And that is why we will find a person sitting on the street at 6 o'clock in the morning, and
Mm-hmm.
you go work and you come back 6 o'clock in the evening, and the person is still there because they have no motivation.
Right, 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 right.
The ability to deal with anger,
Yes. Yes.
right? So the self control when a person angers you, when a person disrespects you, and you can say it is not worth hurting them, it
Mm-hmm.
is not worth killing, it is not
Mm-hmm.
worth pushing violence
Mm-hmm.
because of the substance would have interfered with the development of the brain. That thing that stops you from committing violence or retaliating,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing there to stop you
Right. Right. Right.
because the development of the brain was halted
Mm-hmm.
to that section where you start saying, no, it's not worth it. I shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is what we're afraid of
Right.
in with young people, adolescents using substances.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned primary school. Is it that they had also seen any challenges in some of the behaviors from these persons who were actually using the vape? And something probably we can say to parents, need to be a little bit more vigilant. And if you see these types of behaviors, become a little bit more concerned and find out what's happening. Was that what was happening with the primary school?
Yes, some of the concerns that the primary schools have raised with children who they know or they would have caught would have been the behavior. So they're
Okay.
hyper vigilant, always up.
Mm-hmm.
They can't sit down.
Mm-hmm.
They will not be writing or taking the information.
Okay.
They can't recall.
Mm-hmm.
So you just teach them 2 plus 2,
Mm-hmm.
and by the time you're finished, they cannot remember what you just taught.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
memory loss, the inability to sit still,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the aggression.
Okay.
So they're easily angered, they're easily agitated. Sometimes they'll
Mm-hmm.
just sit down and be crying. And
Mm-hmm.
then we have the suicidal ideations
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
because of rush of emotions that they are so young and they don't know how to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
We have children who are talking more now about hurting themselves,
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
right? Because one thing with the drugs, is that the drugs push emotions and they flood the brain with so much emotion
Mm-hmm.
that the
Mm-hmm.
poor little bodies and the poor little minds cannot manage.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
some of these feelings that they have, these bad feelings and these poor feelings were never there before. And when you look, it was not there's nothing in their life to cause it. So the feelings are false.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
parents, we implore you, we beg you, look, be observant with your children. Notice your children's mood. So when they switch from happy to sad in a split second,
Mm-hmm.
notice how often it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to your child if when your child speaks, the child speaks of self harm.
Mm-hmm.
See how difficult is it for the child to settle down. And this could be something new. So
Mm-hmm.
if your child is not settling down, your child is not calm, and you realize that but this never used to happen before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Find somebody to talk to. Go to your pastor, go to your justice of the peace, take the child to the clinic
Mm-hmm.
and say something to the nurse, say something to the guidance counselor. No matter how simple it is, no matter how you think it may be nothing, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice something different about your child, speak to somebody, anybody,
Yeah, and
and
that's very
get help.
important. That's very important because a lot of times we wait until it is too late. Or we
Yes,
wait. Probably I shouldn't say too late. We have this thing where you say, no, let me watch a little. The watch and
yes,
see, and we don't
yes,
recognize that once we start seeing challenges to the brain, it means that brain tissue is being destroyed, and the more we watch and see, is the more that we have destroyed, and then we have bigger challenges later. And I know Trisha, we're getting down to the wire, but we in our culture, and we still seeing a lot of marijuana use amongst our children very young. And what are some of the challenges that you're seeing at NCDA?
So, some of the challenges that we're having now is and comes in the form of the edibles.
Yes,
So we have, and when we say edibles, we mean
yes.
like when, like the
You
brownies,
need to tell them
like the
all the
cake,
edibles and the gummy worms and beers.
yes,
Yes.
and the Jello shot,
Yes, I forgot the jello shots.
right,
Yes. Yes.
right. So, and the children are being sold these because we know
Right.
the children love the Jellos and the little
Yes. Gummy
the
beers and
Jello
gummy
cup,
words. Yes.
yes. So
Yes.
they infuse them, they soak them in the ganja oil, and then they and sell it to the children,
Yes, and I think
right? We have the
I
cake,
think our teachers have to be a little bit more. And I know that they don't want this selling in schools, and they're trying to prevent it. And our students find smart ways to put them in the bag and
yes,
sell them to the other students. But we have to be
yes.
a bit more responsible
And
as
even
students.
though, sorry,
Yes, go ahead, Trisha.
and even though we spoke about the edibles, the way
Mm-hmm.
that they're packaging
Mm-hmm.
the ganja buds now for to be rolled in the spliff.
Mm-hmm.
They package them in things like Snow White and
Oh,
so they
okay.
give them these
Yes,
unique names
yes,
in these
yes.
beautiful packages.
Wow.
Our
So the
adolescents now
marketing
are
is
gravitating toward, yes,
attracting the young
very,
people. Wow, wow,
very,
wow.
right? So, and then we have like the Sleeping Beauty
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So parents, sometimes when you're washing the uniforms and you're washing the clothes, and you see some little packages that make that you may think are sweet,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You maybe, and we always tell parents to be informed to protect.
Mm-hmm.
Know what is happening out there, parents.
True.
Use
Yes.
your smartphone and Google and search these things so that you are abreast, you
Mm-hmm.
know what is happening so that you can have
Mm-hmm.
conversations with your children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the ganja is coming, everything is evolving,
Mm-hmm.
everything is growing or
Mm-hmm.
becoming
Mm-hmm.
newer and more aesthetically pleasing
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and catching to the youngsters. So we have the gummies, we even have the juice, the liqueur, the ganja
Mm-hmm.
liqueurs,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just smoking anymore,
Right, right. Right.
right? You'll see a child eating a cake, you'll see a child eating a sweet,
Cookie or cookies. Yes. Yes.
and the cookies. It may sound foreign, but we know that it is in Trelawney. We know that it is in Falmouth. We
Mm-hmm.
know that it is in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So parents, be alert.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not just be alert, have conversations with the children, ask the children what they think about it. And
Right.
then you start having an idea as to where your child's mind is.
And I think those of us, no, those of you parents who are selling it and who are producing it need to
Yes,
consider, what would I do if the negative consequences of marijuana starts affecting my child? Because
yes,
every parent wants their child to succeed, to do very well, to be able to manage and cope on their own. And when you have a child who has done well in high school but fails to go on any further because of the use of marijuana early in life and may develop or hasten a mental illness, then it becomes very devastating for the family and also sometimes for the community. So it means that we need to recognize how it is that working together we are seeing. And yes, you might say, boy, me smoke it and not never happened to me, or me eat it and not never happened to me. But you never know what's happening to the other person's brain. So it means that as community we have to raise the awareness and also take care of each other, because if we are doing that, then we would not want to harm each other in the ways that we are doing with these substances. Yes. But Trisha, in your last 2 minutes, tell us about NCD and what it offers, the National Council on Drug Abuse, in terms of the prevention and treatment aspect of National Council.
Okay, so the National Council on Drug Abuse will be celebrating 40 years this year.
Wow.
So, yes, so we will be planning our 40th year for October. So,
Okay.
one of the
Okay.
things that we offer is
Yes.
that we offer prevention programs because Jamaicans, we believe prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
So we start as early as 5 years.
Yes.
And what we do is that we teach 5-year-olds resilience skills,
Ah,
coping skills. We talk to
nice.
them about, you know, emotions. What makes
Yes.
me happy? What makes
Very
me
good.
sad? What
Yes.
do I do when I'm
Yes.
happy? What
Very
do I do
good.
when I'm sad?
Yes.
We talk about good and bad drugs.
Right.
So, we talk about the
Yes.
prescription drugs, we talk about the DPA,
Yes.
and how is it used?
Mm-hmm.
How are you supposed to use it?
Uh-huh.
Are you supposed to use it yourself? So
Okay.
so that when the children grow,
Yes.
they go with the knowledge of
Definitely.
saying we have I must take drugs, I must take my medication according to how it's prescribed.
Yes.
We
Yes.
also teach them how to navigate their emotions. When they're
Uh-huh.
sad, it's okay to cry. It's
Okay.
okay to say, I am not happy. It
Yes.
is okay to talk
Excellent.
about these emotions,
Excellent. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so when they grow and things become challenging for them, they would
Yes.
have been growing with the skill set to
Yes.
say that, you know, so we have those. In the
Yes.
high schools, we have programs where we teach peer educators
Ah,
because we know that youngsters
talk to
will
them
not
better.
tend to
That's
necessarily
right.
talk to adults.
That's right.
But when
Yes.
they have their peers,
Yes.
when they have somebody their own age group who
Yes.
understands their situation,
Right.
they'll feel more comfortable to
Definitely.
talk. And these peer educators, peer leaders can say, listen, talk to me. If you're feeling sad, we would have
Yes.
trained them how to navigate.
Right.
And so they could come to us with these issues, not saying who told them,
Right.
but we could say, all right, have them go to this place, have them talk to, tell
Right.
them this,
Mhm.
talk to them about this. So we have those programs.
All right.
We also have programs where the experts, so we are training workforces.
Yes.
We are training workplaces, we are
Yes.
training adults, we are
Mm-hmm.
training police
Yes.
in the screening for
Yes.
risk of substance use.
Right.
So we have the experts, which is the
Yes.
screening and brief intervention and
Intervention.
referral to treatment.
Great. Trisha.
because some persons like,
Yes. We have to go. I'm so sorry, but you have a helpline. I want you to give us a number for the helpline before we go.
okay, so our helpline is simple,
Yes.
564 help. So it's 564
Help.
42.
Okay.
Yes, 564 help.
Yes.
And once you call 24 hours,
24
once you
hours.
call that number,
Yes.
anywhere you are in Jamaica, you'll get help.
Excellent. Excellent. And that's very commendable. Let me commend the National Council on Drug Abuse. We want to especially thank Trisha McCarthy, who is a substance abuse counselor and officer right here in Trelawney, Falmouth, or Falmouth Trelawney rather. And we recognize the wealth of knowledge she has, and we recognize also the challenges that we have right now. And I encourage you, if you need her to come or need one of the officers anywhere in the island or anywhere you are, please reach out to them. Thank you for joining us. We thank you so much, Trisha. We really appreciate it, because it means we have a lot to do, and we have to work some more together, build the community, and deal with the substance use problem. And we really thank you for highlighting some of these substances. Thank you, my guest, my guest Trisha, and thank you everybody for being with us, and thank you for being a part of Destigmatize. We see you next week at 6 o'clock right here on Fit FM 96.7, and we ask that you remember, there but for the grace of God go I, and there's no good health without good mental health. We close out as usual. My favorite Rondell Positive. Thank you, Madam Producer.
Take a look, tell me what you see. Head point a finger, it comes back at me. Mirror.